Assalamu alaikum. That is, peace be with you. Welcome to another segment of Al Islam Worldwide Ministry Presents. And as always, we like to begin with prayer. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in. Ihdina siratal mustaqim. صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Ameen. Let us translate now from Abdullah Yusuf Ali's translation, the first chapter of the Quran, titled Al-Fatiha. With Allah's name, the Merciful Benefactor, the Merciful Redeemer. All praise belongs to Allah, the cherisher and sustainer of all the systems of knowledge. The Merciful Benefactor, the Merciful Redeemer, Sole Master on the Day of Judgment. Thee alone do we worship, and Thee alone do we seek for aid and assistance. Guide us along the path that is straight, the path of those whom Thou hast bestowed Thy favors and grace, not the path of those who have earned Your displeasure, nor of those who go astray. Ameen. God the Mighty spoke the truth. We'd like to welcome all of you. We say to our Muslim viewers in the United States of America and around the world, again, Assalamu alaikum. Peace be upon our Christian brothers and sisters. We say shalom to our Jewish brothers and sisters, and we thank you all so much for honoring us. We know, as I say often, that you have many choices and many things you could be doing with your time on Thursday night. So we're happy that you join us live on Facebook, and to those of you all who will view our posting later on our YouTube channel, Al Islam Worldwide Ministry. We say welcome to all of you and thank you, and we're honored to have you in our presence this evening. Our program tonight will focus on our upcoming Neighborly Needs program that we sponsor for the community every quarter. So this will be the last quarter, next week the last quarter of the year. And I want to begin with an opening statement reading from the Quran on this particular idea to share with our audience where we originate this concept from. So in chapter 107 of the Quran, it is actually titled The Neighborly Needs or Neighborly Assistance, Al-Ma'un. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. With God's name, the Merciful Benefactor, the Merciful Redeemer. Arayta alladhi yukadibu bid-din. See thou one who denies the judgment to come, verse 2. فَذَلِكَ الَّذِي يَدُعُ الْيَتِيمَ. Then such is the person who pushes away the orphan harshly. Verse 3. وَلَا يُحُدُّ عَلَى طَعَامِ الْمِسْكِينِ. And they do not encourage the feeding of the indigent ones, or those who are misfortunate. Verse 4. فَوَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَّلِينَ. So woe to those who are worshippers, الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنْ صَلَاتِهِمْ سَاهُونَ, who are neglectful of their prayers. Verse 6, الَّذِينَ هُمْ يُرَاءُونَ, they only want to be seen of men. And verse 7, which is the theme of our program tonight and our program next week. وَيَمْنَعُونَ الْمَاءُونَ, and they refuse to supply even basic neighborly needs. Hence our program for our community in Jacksonville, Florida, Neighborly Needs, originating from the Quran. The second verse I want to read from chapter 90, titled Al-Balad, the city or the town that we live in. And verse 10, God says, revelation to Muhammad the Prophet, وَهَدَيْنَاهُ النَّجْدَيْنِ, and haven't we shown him the two roads of life? فَلَقْتَحَمَ الْعَقَبَةِ, but he makes no haste on the path that is the steep incline. Verse 12. وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا الْعَقَبَةِ, and what will explain to thee what the steep incline path is? Verse 13. فَكُّ الرَّقَبَةِ, it is freeing a person in servitude. Verse 14. Aw it'amun fi yawmin dhi masqabah, or giving food in a day of hunger and starvation. Verse 15. Yatiman de makrabah, to the orphans with claims of relationship, no fathers or mothers. Verse 16. Al miskinan de makrabah, are to those misfortunate ones who are struggling to make ends meet. Now, I translated like that, down in the dust, meaning they're having a hard time. That's contemporary language. And then verse 17. ثم كان من الذين آمنوا وتواصوا بالصبر وتواصوا بالمرحمة. Then will you be of those who really believe and enjoin patience, constancy, and discipline, and enjoin deeds of kindness and compassion. Those are verses from the Quran that I wanted to read tonight as our opening statement for the Neighborly Needs Day. Now, we have some very special guests with us, so I'm going to introduce our guests. But I'm going to go this way first tonight because our two honored guests with us are not normally a part of our guest studio. So tonight, Dr. Rashid Abdullah, assalamu alaikum, welcome. And your lovely wife, Teresa Abdullah, assalamu alaikum. And Lazette Salim, assalamu alaikum. And to our honored guests, and we're so happy to have you all with us tonight, Mrs. Terencia Shiloh, peace be with you. Thank you. Oh, okay, assalamu alaikum. And Ms. Kay Poole with Home Solutions, we say to you, assalamu alaikum. Welcome, and thank you all very much for joining us tonight. And we're so honored to have them. They were with us before. They have been with us at our last program, Neighborly Needs, that we had a few months back. And they did such a wonderful job with the community, sharing what their services are. And I'll have them to tell you about that tonight. And we wanted to invite them to share with our Facebook Live audience, our YouTube channel audience, and our viewers to see what we're doing in the city of Jacksonville, Florida, and reaching out to people who are unfortunate. So we invited them, and I'm just so happy that you all are able to join us tonight. So thank you all very much.
Thank you.
So, Ms. Kay, I'm going to start with you, Ms. Poole, because you have an interest in, now you all are in for a treat here on the front end of this now. This is Mrs. Kay Poole, so let me give you her professional information first. Mrs. Kay Poole is with VTech Home Solutions Employment Agency. But notice her last name is Poole, and it's spelled Poole.
Correct.
She happens to be a cousin, relative of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and his name was Elijah Poole. So Mrs. Kay Poole, can you please share with our audience, tell us about yourself and a bit about the Poole family?
Well, I'll start off with the interesting fact, because I know everybody wants to know in regards to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And yes, it started off as he being a Poole, Elijah Muhammad. Of course, everybody knows the history that he changed his name. But originally, our family is originally from Georgia. And my grandfather, who was Oliver Poole Sr., is my grandfather, of course. And along with the long lines, Elijah Muhammad is that is how he's my cousin. So we do come from a long line of entrepreneurship, which I know that is something that he definitely pushed. And without even knowing the history, I myself, which goes into that segment of saying that I am an entrepreneur myself. So the blood still runs through our veins to push that. And so being that said, my company is called VTech Home Solutions. I have been in business now going on, well, it is 8 years, so next year in May it'll be 9 years. I stepped away from the corporate segment simply because of, I truly believe in family. I believe in having my own time to myself and being able to raise my family in the way that I'm there for them. Now, with that being said, my company is an employment agency, and I do employ people to work from home. And I employ them to work for various Fortune 500 companies out there that a lot of people travel agencies, rental cars, just to kind of name a few of the things that we do. You have the opportunity to make your own schedule once you go through training. So it's just a lot. I love what I do. It's not just in addition to it being an employment agency, I was able to branch off being a project manager where I do home renovations for the city of Jacksonville as well as other areas that I'm expanding to. So as you can see, I really feel privileged. And we'll talk a little bit more, I guess, with some things going on, but that you'll see what we do. But I do feel privileged, being amongst this group and knowing that my cousin, Elijah Muhammad, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, wanted this, and now I feel privileged because I'm here to say that that legacy is still going on, within the family.
And we're so happy, and thank you for honoring us with your presence. And I was saying to you before we started the program that you have a very historic family, and the legacy that Honorable Elijah Muhammad left, and that guiding principle for all of us was do something for yourself.
Right.
And you are continuing that in the family tradition, and we're so happy. But I was listening to you as you were making your presentation. So did I hear you correctly to say that you train people that work from home with some of the Fortune 500 companies? Can you elaborate a little bit on how does that work?
Yes, I can. It's a very simple process for someone to be a part of it. All it takes is just really going through training. Everything is absolutely done at home. You're training at home, and once you have a set schedule to train, but once you are not training and you're certified, then from there you can make your own schedules. You are actually answering phone calls for these companies. The history behind it all is that what happened is that when all of our companies were being shipped over to India, to different countries, and
call
they were
centers.
doing it. Yeah, the call centers were being, and Jacksonville is the call center capital.
Oh, really?
And so and so all of these jobs were being shipped over to India. So it lost. The purpose of it was because what happened is there was the benefits. It was less cost. People where they were basically getting 3 people to work, but they would pay the people in the United States for one. But what was happening is that the transition was lost simply because we were not getting the quality. When you call and you hear the different cultures, we were not used to that, and so we were not getting the services that the United States really thought that they were getting. Sometimes it's with that, the United States found a way to bring back the jobs to the United States, but yet they, instead of going into a brick and mortar type atmosphere and having to pay for all of this, they brought it into the homes, which really made it a lot better. Because I think that what we try to portray is, like you're saying, doing for yourself. And the motto that I always talk about is do something different, meaning that it's not about the brick and mortar. It allowed me, which I will be happy to say, is that I have 2 young men who are 24 and now 17. They're autistic, but they're high functioning because I was there as a mother to not only work for and make my own schedule, but it allowed me to be there with them and still be able to make money and care for them and give them the home and the security that they need. And so now, because of that, my young men, who's autistic, they work. One, he's been working now for 3 years. Because I was there, the education was there. My son graduated with a 3.91 average.
Oh, wow.
The other one that's 17, he is very high functioning as well, and all he thinks about is entrepreneurship. So
It's in the blood.
It's in the blood. It's in the blood. And so so the working from home not only just allow you to take care of your family, but it does allow you to basically get out there and be your entrepreneur, because I'm still working. I'm still able to make my schedule and do what I want to do. But not only that, this business, when I was just down and out, I was bankrupt. I don't mind talking about it. At one time, went through foreclosure. At one point, almost did not, but lost my home. And that foundation allowed me to grow and to prosper and to take that, what was $8 an hour, into something that's now six figures. And so it also allowed me to work and help other people in this industry, because as we'll talk about some of the credit restorations and stuff that I'm helping with the community. So now people saying, how are you all over the place? I'm really not. It's just what it allowed me to do. And I just want everybody to not be afraid to really get out there and do something different so that you can take charge of your life and be able to have time to do what you need to do. And that's what that business allowed me to do. Something that started from $8 an hour to I almost had nothing, lost it all. As long as I didn't lose my mind and God gave me the ability to just be strong in that, then I'm not afraid of anything at all. I know now that when we pray and we ask God for these things and allow Him to manifest what we do, it works.
Yes.
It works, because like you said, I had nothing. I mean, I had I couldn't rub two pennies together, but because of my faith, my belief, and being strong, and of course, who I know to be, I tell people all the time, find yourself first before you bring other people in. I stayed to myself a lot, and I built that business, and now, like I said, I have basically with that helped over 500 people.
Oh, God bless you.
With this job, I'm out there helping military wives, military husbands, families, and college students. Just to name a few, even our silvers. I had a silver young lady. I say silver young
now,
lady.
when you say silvers, you mean senior citizens. Okay.
Senior.
Okay.
That's a nice way to say it.
Yes.
I like that.
Her help our silvers.
Yes.
She was 84.
Wow.
And that extra income actually helped her. And so there was no boundaries, and and what she accomplished. And so it can help anyone, in this industry.
Well, we thank you so much for sharing all sharing that with our group on next Saturday at Neighborly Needs from 1 o'clock to 4:30 p.m. And before we go off the air this evening, we will give you all also your contact information for our viewers here.
Okay.
And quickly, before we move to Mrs. Terencia, what you're doing here in Jacksonville. Now, we have viewers all over the United States of America and some outside, well, around the country, also around the world. So can someone, for example, in Dallas, Texas, or Miami, Florida, or anywhere in the United States reach out to you and be able to assist them in some form or fashion quickly before I go to?
Absolutely.
All right. Okay. So we'll make sure we get her contact information before the night is out. So you can just be so kind as to pass that microphone to Mrs. Terencia. And our next guest is Ms. Terencia Shiloh. And we'll come back to you both because I'm sure our regular guests have some questions for you. But for Ms. Terencia Shiloh, she's with the HIV AIDS counselor. She's an AIDS counselor and tester. So Ms. Terencia, welcome to Al-Islam Worldwide Ministry.
Well, thank you.
Please introduce yourself and tell us a bit about what you do and what you're going to be doing for us next year.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for the platform, because we are so honored, and I just want to thank you all so much, because this is just an opportunity, bigger than what we could imagine on a scale of what we do here locally. So for that, we do thank you for the presence, like I said, and the platform. I am an HIV/AIDS tester and counselor with AIDS Healthcare Foundation. I will start by giving you a little bit of background, because AIDS Healthcare Foundation is a global nonprofit organization that provides cutting-edge medicine and advocacy for any individual, regardless of their ability to pay. We have over 1 million lives in care right now. We are one of the largest HIV and AIDS medical providers in the United States.
Oh, wow.
So that's huge. Like I said, we are in more than 43 countries. So we provide a robust of services. And because of that, that's our hallmark to success.
And what's the name of your organization? Tell them what your organization is.
It's AIDS. Our organization is AIDS Healthcare Foundation.
AIDS Healthcare
And of
Foundation.
course, for short, you'll hear us talk, throughout the session today, calling it AHF. That's for short. We use a lot of pronouns and a lot of acronyms in our ministry. But what we do provide free HIV testing to any individual who would like it. It's a 1-minute rapid test that we provide. It's called INSTI. Anyone is welcome to come on at any time. We have 2 mobile units here locally in Jacksonville. We were just blessed with another mobile unit to provide that free HIV testing, counseling, and treatment. Now, anytime that you come on our mobile unit, we have 4 or 5, we have like 6 now, almost 6 professional counselors that are readily available to test you and educate you, provide free HIV free condoms, and all those things for you. Coming onto the mobile unit, it's a quick process. We get a little bit of information from you, not much. It's not anonymous testing. It is very confident. It's confidential testing. So it's a finger prick, and you get your results in 1 minute. It's very quick. It's client centered. So don't be afraid to step on. A lot of people think that all we do is test people for HIV and AIDS. We do a lot of other things too, because we do provide linkage for those people who are out of care. We're very serious and very passionate about the work that we do. So even if you know someone who is HIV positive and you see our mobile units around, you're welcome to step on and take a free HIV test, because we do want to get those in care who is lost to care. We also want to provide, the ones that are negative, we want to keep negative. Those who are positive, we want to make sure they're in services and they stay in services. That's one of our biggest things with the mobile unit. So that's our services with that. You can always step on and get free condoms. You don't have to take a test. You can always find us through our Facebook page, which is MTU Jax. And we post our location every day. We have 2 crews that actually go out, one in the morning and one in the evening. We're not a 9-to-5 schedule. We work, every day of the week. So, and if you would like to request our services anywhere in your organizations, you're welcome to just call us at 904-349-3304. Now, on the other side of that, we have treatment where we provide free STD screening and treatment at our wellness center over in St. Vincent's Hospital. For many of you who may not know where that is, that's 2 Shercliffe Way, and we're in the DePaul building on the 9th floor, Suite 900. Now we provide on Wednesday and Saturdays, we provide free STD screenings and treatment. On Wednesdays, we open at 4:30 to 7:30, and on Saturdays, it's from 10 to 2. So if you know anyone that, think that they may have an issue as far as exposure to any sexual transmitted infection, you're welcome to visit us during those hours. We also have a healthcare center that we service all of our HIV clients up in the same building in the St. Vincent's Hospital. So we try to make sure that we meet the needs of everybody in the community. To clear up a few things that I just want to throw out there a little bit about how people can become infected with HIV, because a lot of times people have these misconceptions about how they can be infected or what things that puts them at risk. The only thing, there's only 4 ways that you're gonna that HIV can be transmitted, and that's unprotected sex, whether it's anal, oral, or vaginal. And then the second way is blood to blood. Anytime you share blood with somebody else and it's not yours, and you don't know their status, there's a chance of transmission. That goes with when we're talking about IDUs and things like that. And then any body fluids that you share with somebody else, pre-com, semen, vaginal secretions, anything like that. Anytime you share body fluids with someone else, there's a chance of transmission. And then, of course, last but not least is our, mother to child. So we do have a handle on that. You know, we make sure that every HIV infected mom is treated so that she does not, transmit the HIV virus to her unborn child. So, but anytime there's any untreatment and treatment there where, we encourage the mother to not breastfeed, and we encourage C-section birth. So therefore, we're able to, HIV infected moms are able to successfully have children, and where they don't seroconvert over to HIV.
Thank you so much.
You're
and
welcome.
Mrs. Shiloh, you mentioned that this is a global organization.
This is global. We're in 43 countries.
43
we're in
countries.
Asia, we're in Europe, we're in Africa, and we're in Americas.
Yeah. And the reason I'm asking that because this is Al Islam Worldwide Ministry, so you're ministering to the world.
That's just
so
amazing how that falls.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that you have a global organization.
Absolutely.
And these are real life issues, views, and people that happens all over the United States of America and globally. She said they're in 43 countries. And so this is what we offer. We've expanded our service. So it's not just passing out some food and clothes, which is important. Folk need meals and they need clothing. But the services of entrepreneurs, you know, the Chinese have an old saying, Mrs. Poole, say if you want to, you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. Teach him how to fish, you feed him for a lifetime.
Like that.
Yeah, so that's what you're doing with your entrepreneurial skills. And then Mrs. Shiloh addressing these real life issues in the community, locally in the United States, but in 43 countries around the world.
Yeah,
that's impressive. Yeah, thank you so much. So now, Lizette, you sure you have a question? Do you have a question for our guest?
Oh, some of them were already answered.
Just pass the mic for if you don't mind.
Okay.
She can get the mic. Thank you so much.
Most of our questions I had were pretty much answered, but one question I have is, Ms. Poole, is the majority of your clients, what mainly is their background? Or I know you said you have all types, but what is the majority of their background? Do they have higher education or, dropouts, or would it be mainly for, I know it's for anybody,
Right.
but the main group of people that actually need your help or come to you for that, what type of?
Like you said, it is for, all people. We don't, really leave anyone out. I think the best thing that I love about it is because even if you have a GED, you can get a job because we're training you anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks, depending on the company that you choose, to work for. And so that's what I really like, because I think that it gives people hope for those who don't really have a higher education but have great skill levels. And so those will teach the customer service side because they're at home, so they're getting these teachings right there at the location. I just want everybody to know, yes, you have to have, everybody says, well, what equipment do you need and things like that. You have to have your home phone and you have to have your internet and computer, but that's it. The other beauty of it is it allows you to go where you want to go. If you want to go on vacation, you can take that with you. Especially for our military families, because this is a military town, it helps keep that gap, closed, because of military spouses are always on the go. So I think what it helps is that you don't have to stay behind to keep your job and to keep your financial status intact. You can take that job along with you and stay with your family and still work. And especially when you're in a different location, you don't know anyone who possibly knows your children. So it helps to financially say that, hey, I don't have to pay babysitting fees, I don't have to travel anywhere, I can, we can even push being healthy because you can eat at home and make your own food instead of going out to different locations. And I want to add to your statement when you was talking about teaching someone how to fish and they will own it for a lifetime. But in my world, is I always teach them how to own the pond.
Oh, I like that.
I
Yeah,
like that
that's
even
good.
better.
Anytime they want to.
Yeah, I like that.
To go home,
That's a
right?
good one. On the pond.
Yes, on the
There you
pond.
And you can grow the fish anytime you want to. I like that. Now, since you brought that up, following up on the question with Lizette, what do you have a website? I'm sure you do. What's your website? And I'm going to ask Ms. Shallow the same thing. What's your website and contact information, your phone number?
Okay. The website information is vtechhomes.com, and I'll spell that for you. Is V as in Victor, T as in Tom, E as in Edward, C as in Charlie, HOMES.com.
Okay. Now, is there a hyphen in between the VTech or just
No,
VTech?
just all vtechhomes.com.
So that's VTech, VTECH, VTechHomes.com is the
Correct.
website.
Mm-hmm.
And on the website is your contact information.
Correct.
All right.
All
So,
that.
so you all around the country now. She says he can just work around the country.
Yeah.
All right. If you want to work at home and you want to make some extra income, build you a business, home-based business,
Right.
contact Mrs. Poole at VTech. That's VTECH Home Solutions. VTech Homes.
Yeah.
HOMES.com. And then you'll have her contact information on that website.
Right.
Mrs. Shallow, same to you. What's
Oh.
your website?
So our website is AIDShealth.org, and that's AIDS, AIDS, health, HEALTH.org. Or you can go to AHF.net, and if you're wanting to find out free test sites or anything like that, you can go to www.freehivtest.net.
All right, so that's AIDShealth.org. That's just Mrs. Shallow's website. Now, we have a question from one of our viewers, and it says, this is for you, Mrs. Shallow.
Okay.
What is the latest strand of HIV?
Okay, so different people have different strands of HIV. I will start by saying this. A lot of times people think that, I just want to go into the scenario because a lot of people, when they're diagnosed with HIV, seems like it turns off everything for them. Mental, I would say their mental aspect of life and some other things. But they also think that, relationships is the thing that just has to stop, and it doesn't. So being HIV positive doesn't give a person, a right to just have sex with unprotected sex, I would say, with somebody who is HIV positive because they think that they can't do any hurt. It creates another strand of HIV. So that's just a kind of an analysis to show you how the strands are developed. But the latest strand of HIV, everybody has a different strand of HIV. Okay, it just depends on how much of a viral load that person has, to tell where you're at in your status. A lot of times, and unfortunately, we see people as they come in, they you have to have HIV first. So HIV is the virus. Let me just stop here and start and say this. HIV is the virus that causes AIDS. HIV is the human immunodeficiency virus, right? It attacks, and it's easy to remember because it attacks what? Humans. It attacks your immune system, and it's a virus. So that's a great way to remember, HIV. So it's the virus that causes AIDS. In order for an AIDS status to happen, AIDS stands for acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. Okay, so in order for HIV to progress into any given one person, it takes about 10 to 14 years for it to progress into that. Because HIV is very savvy. It's a virus that clones itself to look just like your good helper cells. Okay, and it starts to grow and grow and grow and grow and grow, and it clones itself to make the good helper cells think that we're on board with you, like we're part of the army, when they're really not. But that's how savvy this virus is. So I say that to talk about the strands. Well, once a person becomes, they're into, a lot of times when we diagnose them on the trucks and they get the viral loads and they do the blood work with the doctors, they are already at an AIDS status. A lot of people don't know because they haven't had that HIV test. A lot of people think that, oh, I'm good because I look good, I feel good, and I know I don't have HIV. A lot of people try to validate themselves behind their women, or vice versa. Women try to validate themselves behind their men's HIV status. But everybody is just like, everybody has to have their own, everybody needs to know their status. It's the CDC's recommendation that everybody knows their HIV status. So unfortunately, we do get people where they test with us and they come on and they're already at an AIDS status. And that's okay, because that's what we provide. We provide that cutting edge medicine in order to bring them back to a healthy status, even though their immune system has been shut down, really low. So it's okay. I've seen people bounce back. A normal CD4 should be anywhere between 1,000 and sometimes we say even 800, but anywhere between 800 and 1,500. So a lot of times I've seen people come in where their CD4 was even as low as 4, the number 4, knocking at death's door. And I've seen them bounce back to their CD4 growing up to 700, 800. So it can happen. Treatment is real. It's good. And it's available, thank God, to a little boy called Ryan White. Okay. And that's the services and the provider that provides the payments and the costs for a lot of the HIV medication. So you don't have to worry about, I can't afford the medication. You don't need to. All you need to do is visit one of our MTUs. We'll be here on December the 14th, yes. Providing free HIV testing. If you know someone who is HIV positive, that's not in care, not taking their medication for whatever reasons, please let us know, because we have an awesome linkish team. Her name is Lisa Barton, and she is amazing. She cuts through barriers, because you can't try to help somebody who has barriers. If they're hungry, I can't talk to you about taking medication and you don't know where you're going to sleep the next night, or you don't know where your next meal is going to come from. So we do knock down those barriers. We do a whole lot more. Our linkish person she is amazing. So I encourage you, if you know anybody and you love them, save a life, because it's just worth it. We're here. It's free. I just can't. I'm really excited to even be a part of AIDS Healthcare Foundation. I'm telling you, my passion for this goes deeper than what you all know. Your passion. Yeah, because it's there.
Let me say to our audience, Miss, and thank you so much for that detailed explanation, because you did mention we'll be here next Saturday, December the 14th, from 1 to 4:30. Now, beware, that's up to me to tell you all where they're going to be. So this will be at Masjid Muhammad, which is on 320 Woodbine Street. That's in Jacksonville, Florida now. Mm-hmm. So those of you all who are around the country, you can go on the website for Mrs. Shallow at aidshealth.org. And for Mrs. Poole, VTech, 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 let me put my glasses on, VTechHomes.com. But they'll be presenting workshops for the Jacksonville community. This is part of our outreach. They're part of our team. And we want to thank husband and wife team, yes. Dr. Rashid and Teresa, for bringing them to us, yes. and sharing with the community the expertise that we have in the city of Jacksonville, Florida, to help the people in the community that we have the most. So this is part of our outreach of Masjid Muhammad. So I'm coming right to you right now, Doc. You're right on time. So we have about 5 minutes left. So Dr. Rashid, you have he speaks loud. You're good. So, but we'll need it for his wife. So Dr. Rashid, so go ahead, my friend.
Working at the Horizon House myself for I've been in council for many years. One of the biggest things, like you said, was the double strain. One of the things that pops up though, a real dilemma, and I heard you say that the implications that you may be dealing with it, that we had to deal with, was the sexual addiction. That even though they know it's different strains, even though that mixing them two strains could just take them right out the box, you see.
Yeah, exactly.
That the sexual addiction would have them overlook, because the sexual addiction runs at a higher frame.
That's right.
That they just can't, that idea, I can't do without this.
Right.
Do you have in your counseling mechanism something to address that? That has been the big problem. I mean, you do an excellent job, and even the new medications is doing an excellent job, but that sexual addiction.
Now, something like that, we would make a referral to a counselor to, help them with that. But aside from that, we have now I got another prevention tool in the box. We call it PrEP. PrEP PrEP stands for pre-exposure prophylaxis. Now, this is a 1 pill regimen that we provide to people who have those sex cravings, okay, have multiple partners. You may even be in a relationship with someone where one is positive and one is negative. We call that serodiscordant. But PrEP is our highest and our most recent prevention tool that we use now. It's to be used in conjunction with condoms. It's a 1 pill a day. It's called Truvada, and Truvada is an HIV blocker. So that's why we use Truvada as the blocker to block HIV in negative people. Okay, you have to be HIV negative. But for that sex addiction person, perfect tool for them. Still got to use condoms.
Right.
But because we don't care, it's not our. We don't care about who you choose to have sex with or how you choose to have sex, but we do care about you being safe when you have sex. Okay, that's what it's all about. Safer sex is just sexy. Okay, so that's our push for that. PrEP is our #1 tool right now, and we're pushing it.
And quickly, because I know our time is shooting.
Yeah,
we provide it.
About 3 minutes left.
Okay, I know the pills that we develop create more red blood cells, right?
Right.
Now,
No,
Dr. Rashid,
PrEP is a blocker.
she's going to be doing this presentation.
Yeah.
So we want to
It's a
save.
blocker.
Okay.
Yeah, we want to save some of this to
Yeah.
next week now.
Okay.
And then you'll
we'll
be
have some
doing
more
your
material on
workshop
Yes, I will.
on the counseling piece for a lot of those psychological issues. So I want to conclude with your wife. Teresa, do you have a question for either Mrs. Poole or Mr. Shiloh?
I thank you ladies for coming. My
Thank
question
you.
is for Teresa.
Okay.
What are your goals for each at the end of the year? How do you calculate your numbers to reach your goal?
To our program.
To your program.
Well, we have a deliverables every month, but our main goal is in line with an NHOS and what we call the National HIV and AIDS Strategy. So #1, we want to reduce the number of people who are infected. #1, we want to increase the number of people who know their HIV status. Okay, because if I truly believe if you know better, you can do better, right? That's what we want to think. But we do want to reduce that number. We also want to make sure that we're doing condom distribution in the community. That's another one of our, pet peeves of things that we push now, and community messaging. Those are our 4 main goals, and they align up with, like I said, those national HIV and AIDS strategy goals. So that's our goal for what we do. We provide high impact prevention, and that's and we truly believe that if we can do that, if we can eliminate the number of people duplicating, cut off the duplication of people getting infected with HIV, we can really kind of eradicate HIV. If we keep those who are negative, if we keep those who are positive, healthy, we can stop it. But we gotta, it takes a village to do that.
Yeah.
So we run even another program. It just runs me into another program that's called Business and Labor Response to AIDS. And we provide, we give out condoms to little small businesses, hair barbershops, hair salons, and things like that, that disseminate condoms for us in the community. So we're just trying to keep the community safe.
Well, thank you so much, and
Thank you.
We could go on and on, but we
Yes,
started.
it's a lot to tell.
And the time got away because you all doing such a wonderful job sharing this information. So to our special honored guests, they will be with us now.
On Saturday.
They're with us on Al Islam Worldwide Ministry tonight, but they're going to be with us at Masjid Muhammad, God willing, next Saturday
December
from
14th.
1 to 4:30 p.m., 320 Woodbine Street. That's in Jacksonville, Florida, 32206 for you all put in the GPS if you don't know. So come out to our Neighborly Needs Day to see Mrs. Shallow next week, and she will have her associate, a very nice lady I met the last time.
Stacey Keller.
Was it Linda or
Stacey Keller.
Stacey. So
Stacey Keller.
we're looking forward to seeing you next week. And you also, Mrs. Poole, we're looking forward to your presentation and workshop next week. So you all join us at the Neighborly Needs Day next Saturday, Masjid Muhammad, 320 Woodbine Street in Jacksonville, Florida. Also, tomorrow, our announcements now. Tomorrow, join us for Jummah prayer, our Friday worship at 12:30 p.m. on Facebook Live. If you aren't able to attend the masjid, tune in next week, Al Islam Worldwide Ministry, and we will have some more guests with us that will talk about what they'll be doing that actual Saturday. They'll be coming, some young ladies, talk about the workshops that they'll be doing for the Neighborly Needs program. If you would like to contribute to what we're doing, our website is alislamworldwideministry.com. You can go on, hit the donate button, or you can mail a contribution in to Al Islam Worldwide Ministry, Post Office Box 3204, Jacksonville, Florida 32206. So I want to thank all of you all for joining us, our guests for being with us, and our special guest. And you gave us so much information. Thank you so much. So you all go on the website, and we'll be putting that information. So when I put up the program on YouTube tonight, on Al Islam Worldwide Ministry, we will include your websites there, so anybody who can reach out to you around the country and with your global organization around the world.
Yes.
So we'll post all that up. And we'd like to conclude the program. Thank all of you all for joining us in the United States of America and around the world. So we'd like to conclude as we begin with prayer. رَبِّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ. Our Lord, grant us the best that this world has to offer us, and grant us the best that the next world has to offer us, and save us from the punishment of the fires of sins. Ameen. Thank you all very much. We say assalamu alaikum to our Muslim brothers and sisters, peace to our Christian brothers and sisters, and shalom to our Jewish brothers and sisters. And again, thank you all so much for being with us. You added so much value to our program tonight.
We're honored.
Assalamu alaikum.
Yes, we are.